The farm does not wake up all at once. It exhales, slowly. The first sound is always the same, the low hum of machines cooling down from the night before, metal ticking as it remembers yesterday's labor. The air carries the scent of damp soil, fresh sawdust, and clay still holding the cold of the ground. Morning light creeps through the trees, thin and patient, as if it knows there is no need to rush a man who works with his hands. Lately, I have been one of those men. Not a farmer in the romantic sense people like to imagine. No wide wheat fields waving in the wind, no quiet life spent watching crops grow on their own. My days have been heavier than that, rougher, louder, filled with engines, blades, dust, and weight. The last stretch of time on our farm has been nothing but work. Honest work. The kind that leaves your hands aching even when you shut the engine off. The kind that makes you fall asleep the moment your head touches the pillow. The kind that doesn't promise quick reward, but demands belief. I started most mornings at the sawmill. The sawmill has a rhythm of its own. Logs don't care about your plans or your schedule. They sit there in silence, heavy and stubborn, waiting to be transformed. Every tree I felled carried years inside it, years of storms, summers, winters, all compressed into rings that would soon become boards, beams, and fuel for other industries. The blade screamed when it met the wood. There is a moment right before the cut when everything feels perfectly balanced, the log aligned, the machine steady, my breath held. Then the saw bites in, and the silence shatters into motion. Wood fibers tear apart, fresh scent explodes into the air, sawdust coats everything, my boots, my jacket, the ground itself. That dust is honest. It doesn't lie. Every pile of chips meant progress. From raw logs, I produced boards, OSB boards, MDF boards, stacked carefully, strapped tight, ready for transport. These weren't just products, they were proof. Proof that time and effort could be converted into something solid, measurable, valuable. But the sawmill was only the beginning. Once the logs were processed, nothing went to waste. The smaller pieces, the leftovers, the chips and fragments, all of them found their way to the pellet factory. That place never truly rests. Conveyors rattling, grinders chewing endlessly, presses forming neat, compact fuel from what others would throw away. I spent long hours there, feeding the machines, monitoring temperatures, making sure nothing jammed or overheated. From wood chips and raw timber came smoker pellets, dark brown wood mulch, fire logs, each with its own purpose, its own future beyond the farm. There's something deeply satisfying about that process, turning waste into value, turning scraps into heat, into growth, into comfort for someone else's home or business. At night, when the factory lights glowed against the dark forest, I often stood still for a moment, listening. The machines didn't sound angry. They sounded busy, focused, like they understood exactly why they were there. Still, even that wasn't the hardest work. The clay was. Clay doesn't give up easily. It hides beneath layers of earth compacted and stubborn. Digging it feels like pulling history from the ground. The shovel bites in, the excavator strains, and slowly, inch by inch, you win. I hauled load after load from the pit. The road between the clay site and the pottery workshop became familiar in way few paths ever do. Every bump, every turn, every slope etched itself into memory. Tires coated in mud, engines working harder on the climb back. Inside the pottery workshop, the atmosphere changed completely. Where the sawmill screamed, the pottery room whispered. Clay cups, clay vases, clay pots. Simple things, some might say, but shaping clay demands patience. The wheel spins steadily, hands guiding wet earth into form. Too much pressure and it collapses. Too little and it loses shape. Each piece requires attention, respect, calm. I produced more than I expected. Rows of finished goods lined the shelves, cups smooth and balanced, vases tall and proud, pots sturdy and reliable. Fired, cooled, inspected, ready for sale. When I stepped back and looked at everything, the board, the pellet, the mulch, the fire logs, the pottery, I felt something rare. Satisfaction without noise. But the forest still called. There were areas of land completely blocked by dense trees. No road, no access, just walls of green and shadow. If this farm was going to grow, if transportation was going to improve, someone had to carve a path through it. That someone was me. Tree by tree, I worked my way forward, cutting, loading, clearing. The forest resisted at first, thick trunks, tangled branches, uneven ground. But persistence always wins eventually. As logs were removed and ground leveled, a road began to emerge. Not a perfect road, a working road. One built with effort instead of asphalt, one earned rather than given. Standing at the end of it for the first time, I could see deeper into the land than ever before. The farm felt larger, fuller, more alive. All that work had one purpose: income, sustainability, a future. I hope, truly hope, that these efforts will bring us a good return. Not just money, but momentum. Because today, for the first time, we are not just producing. Today, we are buying. The first truck. It might not sound like much to some, just a vehicle, just another machine. But to me, it represents something bigger. Independence, capacity, proof that the work mattered. As the engine starts and the road stretches ahead, I feel a quiet confidence settle in. This farm wasn't built overnight. It was carved, cut, fired, pressed, hauled by hands that refused to stop. And this is only the beginning.